Rising Phoenix Aurora, I am a spiritual revolutionist. I am an author. I am also the founder to A.U.R.A, Hypnosis, Entity Removal, and Rising Phoenix Mystery School Wellness Center, which you see right behind me. You saw the title. It is such an incredible video today. If you are here, know that you are meant to be here. So make sure you watch all the way through. If you found your way to me and our content, and if you followed your heart to mine, you are here. This is a very important video. It is very important because many of what is happening in this now time space and in our continual rising in energy and vibration collectively is found in the past. So today I'm going through and we are deveiling and bringing back the memory of the true men, as you saw the title, the real men of Arabia. This is the real news. We'll be talking about Iran and whatever comes up that we need to talk about of the real news, the end of war. And I have a couple Tartarian books that we'll be going over. As always, we are bringing sacred knowledge over to you, and we have data, written books, copyrighted, published, and so on, with real information before the indoctrination that happened after World War II specifically. It is an honor to be here with you. Make sure you watch all the way here. I know that if you have found your way here, it's because you're meant to divinely be here. So hit subscribe, hit like now. It is incredible to be here with you. We're going to be going over a beginning at some quantum physics to help you understand. No worries, I explained it very simple. So we'll be going over a little bit of that at the beginning so that you could understand what is happening of this past that is bleeding through to this now time space. The world was different. Middle East was different. Arabia, Iran, Persia, completely a different world, just about 100 years or even up to 1979. And you are going to hear of this world today because my intention always is to only operate within source love light, only love, only benevolence and truth. And when we do this, is that my intention through this is to wake up the man, to assist Iran, to assist the revolution that is happening there. Very special lands, very special people. Those are my intentions, because right now Iran is, in a sense, they're doing incredible, but they're drowning at the same time because they have the rest of the Islamic regime around them that is still controlled and following the Iran Islamic regime. I have a book called The 7 Pillars of Wisdom by T.E. Lawrence, where we're going to be going into that today. I also have another book, so you want to stay tuned, you all, to that. So this is this book that I just referenced, where you saw all these beautiful pictures of these beautiful men who had gentle eyes then, okay? Gentle, beautiful eyes. So they were different. Okay? And then the other book that we'll be going over briefly is The Spell of Egypt by Robert Hitchens, Toshinus edition, production of British and American authors. But it says here, while we're going over this, is that it says at the bottom, not to be introduced into the British Empire or USA. Not to be introduced to them. Well, we have it and we'll be going over. It's actually a very beautiful book of Egypt and what she was like before the conqueror of the Islamic world there. This world was beautiful. It was tremendous, glorious, free. And apparently, one of the religions was that they believe in Divine Mother. This is a packed episode. Watch all the way. So many things are referenced in this book of the 7 pillars of wisdom. Like, they talk about aliens. They reference all these different things that we are completely opposite in this now time space. So again, the intention is to wake up the men and to bring them back, because these men of these gentle pictures I showed you are here now. They're incarnated. We come back in cycles collectively, which means that they're here. It means that they could have already been born, or they're going to be born. And we have to wake them up to protect the children, which is what's happened to the Iranian men, truly the Persian men. Iran was Persia before, who have stood up now for the children and the women. All right, so that's my intro. Thank you for being here. More information about me, go to risingphoenixaura.com. I host retreats and workshops to come get certified for aura hypnosis, infamous, incredible aura hypnosis entity removal, and raw Reiki, where you become your own healer, you become your own quantum physicist in your quantum mind, your brain. How to entity remove parasites and dark energies, just period, from yourself and your loved ones. Come here, May 11. I am certifying for this incredible course, these 2 courses during that week. You come here and then you go stay at your stay, but you come here and you learn these teachings, and you will not regret them when you learn them. You're going to actually be like, how come I took so long to get here? And that is absolutely the truth. What happens when people learn them. And if you're ready, then that's what happens. Which if you are here, you are ready. You might have watched all 900 videos or 1,000 videos, or you might have just watched 1 or 7 or 11. I want to thank you. I love you and I honor you, for being this strong to understand our content, and for hanging in, because you know that I've gone to the deepest content, and you're still here. You're pretty incredible. You're bad A to be here and to understand what we're speaking about. There's so much happening. Oh, I see that Candace Owens has a Freemason Bible. That's very interesting. Yeah. Is what I'll say there. Absolutely interesting. Very, very good. Maybe we'll talk about that in the future. And I am the author to 3 books so far. There's many more in the workings. And then check them out under Amazon and Barnes & Noble. The history of our consciousness, the universe and multiverse. And then my most recent one, which I just went to Antarctica in person, landed there, The Lost Cities of Tartaria Beyond the Ice Walls of Antarctica. So thank you for letting me pause that for a minute. I know you guys are left at a cliffhanger. And yeah, next Friday we land in Antarctica. So I'll see you guys next Friday. But for now, we need to help out the people of Iran and the Middle East brothers who are waiting to wake up. And today we do this through this video. So keep watching. And yeah, to support this video and all that I do, go to my website, risingphoenixaura.com or aurapractitioners.com. And I also have Patreon, where you could sign up to any of the tiers there. I am a sovereign being, and so therefore I am self-founded. So everything that you might sign up for, I infinitely appreciate you. If you've been here a long time, come sign up. It is true. You've heard the testimonials. You think that these videos are incredible? Get ready, next level. When you come to our mystery school and go to the extra sensitive content information that I've been referencing, come find out the truth of so much that I cannot share publicly, believe it or not. It's so deep. But these are already, right? Another level, immense, dense, immense deepness of deepness. I don't know what that means. Immensity of a very deep content. So thank you for being here. And let's get started. You all absolutely incredible. I am a family-owned business, which just want to point that out. If you want to support a family-owned business, anytime you want to come check out my content and information in my website. Thank you. Let's get started, you all. And have my music very low, very low. I think we should be good, but let's get started. Come on, guys. All right, all right. Let me know if it's too loud. Should be very low right now. Okay. All right. So to understand what we're about to go into, we're gonna have to understand a little bit of quantum physics. All right. Can you hear the music? A little bit? Okay. So let's go into that. Now, you could reference this more. I'm not going to go deep into timelines, but you could watch Orbiting into Higher Timelines, Elon Musk, Donald J. Trump. You could watch that video to really understand that we talked about this quantum physics that I'm briefly going to show you for about an hour there in that video alone. It's the beginning video. So the way I could tell you is that the way time exists, it's a wave. Okay? It's an alternating current. For those of you who know about science, quantum physics, Nikola Tesla. Wave goes like this. So you look at water, it reminds us how water connects all the worlds, all the parallel earths, all existence, even the higher dimensions. All dimensions exist within the water, from one dimension to infinite dimensions. So these waves here, that's what you're seeing when you're seeing the waves in the ocean and why you love going to the beach so much. But these waves here interconnect parallel. I have a video that I just, maybe about a week or two ago, on time travel, was time travel and time paradoxes. You definitely want to see that under my Rising Phoenix Mystery School channel. That's a separate channel than what we have here. Okay, so deep understanding there that you could watch. Short video, very good. So what happens is that, let's just say this is 1980 here, or 1979, where the Islamic regime happened. All of these connect typically within 20 years increments. So let's say this is 1979, 1999. We are in, let's see, after that would be 2019, right? And then, okay. But with that is, as you're rising the mountain, the wave, it's every one of these waves counts as a year. Now, what happens is with time, even though time-space is not existence, but dates and time, since we are in a time construct, connect. So let's say 1979, when the regime happened, is going to connect to 1999, 2019, and it's even connecting to the now of 2026. They're always connecting, because after this wave happens here, the time connects down here, because let's just understand that, like, this is 20, this is 10 years, this is 20, this is 10 years, this is 20, this is 10 years of waves, you understand? So or in 2026, which would be the next year of 1999, 20 years, 2026, so 2029 would be 10 years, and 2039 would be 20 years. Okay, I'm not going to confuse you too much, but the years work in waves, okay? So we pause that music now. Okay, my video is playing. Okay, so what is going to be happening, I'm seeing it already with this new series, I guess. I thought I was just gonna be able to read it, you all, but the more I read it, I'm like on page 40 or 50 or 70, can't remember right now. And it is like, what, I have to keep reading it. So it's going to become a series. And with every episode to the series, we're going to bring back the Arabian man, the real Arabian man. Okay, so 1979. Wow. So it's been 47 years. Absolutely incredible. Now, the wave is, it doesn't just connect here because the wave continues, correct? The wave is this line here. So the time, if you watch my Philadelphia experiment and the way that time rip happened back when the Tartarian scientists kind of accidentally did it by aliens directing them to do it. You'll learn more about that later then at the extra sensitive series. Okay, and then we're adding links to everything I'm mentioning if we're not, yeah. So can't explain in one episode, guys. It took us like 5 episodes to understand that. So is that the wave happens. The wave keeps connecting. See, it doesn't break. So now that the time-space gap or rip has been healed, which happened in about a year ago, they now interconnect. So before you would have to say directly wait for 1979 from 1999 to 2019. You had to wait that time, but not anymore. Now all time-space is a continuance, a time-space continuance. So they're interlinking through the wave. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. Now, with that is that each one of these waves, so we look here, the wave is a spiral, truly. Okay, the wave is, you're looking at it sideways. It depends on which theory of relativity you're looking at this time-space wave. If you're looking at it sideways, it looks like a wave like this. But if you look at it from in it, directly into it, then you see it as a spiral. This spiral is all unified. If you were to draw multiple dots of time spaces, they're connected, and the spiral never disconnects. It can go on and on and on forever, a spiral, truly. You just keep drawing spirals. So that's how waves work too. When the waves reach the soil, the sand, they bring in the memory, the timelines, so important when the in-between of the ocean, the waters, and the land sand meets, the in-between. Okay, so back to that understanding, 1979, 1999, 2019. But now, let's just picture a bunch of dots here. A bunch of dots that would represent timelines. All these dots are unified by each line. If we were to dot, 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 dot. So therefore they're not untangled. Time space is a quantum entanglement as well. Okay. So what is done here in this time space, since everything, all the timelines are healed, because they're able, now CERN is trying to create time-space rips, but they can't do it anymore. It's shielded. The 5-dimensional energies have activated on Earth. But what they try to reach is they'll try to reach one time space to reach the other, and then they know that it ripples. So at the center here, visualizing every single one of these points, it's rippling into, I'm not going to try not to lose you guys, but it's all these dots are rippling into each other through the time-space continuance of the spiral. It's all unified and healed. You understand? Gina, am I making sense? Let me know if you guys have
You're making sense. It's really incredible, guys, if you watch some of the other videos to really get really good into the quantum physics of it, but it's really good.
Okay.
And so basically what you're saying, though, is that each point in time is connected to each other based on where they are in the spiral. But now the timelines have been healed a lot, they can reach other timelines better.
Exactly. So you don't need to be in 1999 to reach 1979, or if every 10 decades, or when that wave met at the points, that wave, the side waves, right? Met to the alternate current point. Okay. Try not to go into this too much because I don't lose you guys. All right, so when now you understand that through time-space continuance they could connect, that they are connected. Now you understand how science works and how what we work in the now can reach the past and the future timelines where there's the AI, the inverted timelines. Okay? Okay, we're doing good. Questions, comments before we continue. Gina, I'll move on from this.
Yeah, they asked, is it like dropping a pebble into a pond where drop it and it ripples out?
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Uh-huh. Yes. Ultimately, it makes all the circles, right? That are spirals too.
And then just a couple of people were commenting on, you mentioned the T.E. Lawrence Seven Pillars book.
Yeah.
And they mentioned Lawrence of Arabia, which is who T.E. Lawrence was known as, Lawrence of Arabia.
Exactly.
And they've watched movies on it. Several people said they watched the movies on Lawrence of Arabia. So it's interesting to hear it from this perspective.
Oh, awesome. Exciting. I have not watched it, nor have I heard of him before I ran into his book at a book series and when at a bookstore. And when I picked up the book, I heard like, ah, for the angels. They said it's a really important book, even though all the ones I picked up were really important. They said, someday you're going to remind the people of the men that once were there. And I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, of course there was good men there at some point in the past. And then what was also said, Gina was aware of this, and she was with me when we found this book. And I was able to instantly channel it to Gina. When she tried to tell me about him, I was like, wait a minute. I see him in his time space. He is in Arabia, in Persia, and he's trying to save the Arabian people, and he's trying to put them together. And what they showed me is like, the Last of the Mohicans, the Last of the Mohicans tribe. You've seen that movie with Mel Gibson, and he, is supposed to like kind of try to conquer them. But what happens is that he ends up falling in love with the culture, and that's the same thing that happened to Lawrence, is that he fell in love with the culture. And instead of, maybe listening to the United Kingdom or whoever was directing him, I gotta keep reading there, he instead was saving the Arabian men and uniting them together. So this is also where the specific dark curse begins of the Middle East. The whole like collective dark knot that's there begins there in the time space of Lawrence. And we'll go into more of that. Who were the people that were attacking the Arabian men who were positive then? And here's proof that they were positive, written by a Arabian man himself. Let me read you some of what he says in this book. Okay, I'm gonna be able to read the whole thing, but I'll read you one briefly here. All right, so this is volume 4223. Okay. And he goes into actually the different temples that are in Egypt. Okay. So we're looking at Karnak, we're looking at Saqqara, the Sphinx, the pyramids. Okay, and he speaks of them lovingly, like a poem and a love song written to Egypt. Okay, so let's look into this here. Hard to turn the pages with these gloves on. Take this off. Let me see. I'm trying to see when it was copyrighted. Gina, I don't see it on here. Can you look up when that was written?
Is that the Spell of Egypt book?
Yeah, The Spell of Egypt by Robert Hishins. Okay. Well, let's go into the pyramids. The Spell of Egypt. Why do you come to Egypt? He says. Do you come to gain a dream or to regain lost dreams of old? To gild your life with drowsy gold of romance, to lose a creepy sorrow, to forget that too many of your hours are sullen gray. Berith, what do you wish of Egypt? The Sphinx will not ask you, will not care. The pyramids, lifting their unnumbered stones to the clear and wonderful skies, still hold their secrets, but they do not seek for yours. The terrific temples, the hot, mysterious tombs, the odorous of the dead desires of men crouching in and under the unmeasurable sands will mock you with their brooding silence, with their dim and somber repose. The brown children of the Nile, the toilers sing their antique songs by the Shadaf and the Psyche, the dragomans, the smiling goblin merchants, the Bedouins who led your camel into pale recesses of the dunes. These will not trouble themselves about your deep desires, your perhaps yearning hunger of the heart and the imagination. Yet Egypt is not unresponsive. I came back to her with dread. After 14 years of absence, years filled for me with the rumors of her changes, and on the very day of my arrival, she calmly reassured me. She told me in her supremely magical way that all was well with her. She taught, isn't that beautiful how he talks about her? She taught me, he's talking about men, right? And not so positive sometimes, can they be, but why are you here? Now she talks of her. She taught me once more a lesson I had not quite forgotten, but that I was glad to learn again, the lesson that Egypt owes her most subtle, most inner beauty to Keper. Although she owes her marvels to men, that when he created the sun which shines upon her, he gave her the lustre of her life, and those who come to her most must be sun worshippers, if they would truly and intimately understand the treasure of romance that lies heaped within her bosom. She's completely charged up by the sun. When I have memories when we were in Delphi, and we have no idea the power of the sun till this day, and the way that we connected to the sun. We didn't worship the sun. We knew that the sun was life. Thoth says the old legend traveled in the boat of the sun. False information on Thoth, guys, but this is true. If you would love Egypt rightly, you too must be a traveler in the bark. You must not fear to steep yourself in the mystery of gold, in the mystery of heat, in the mystery of silence that seems softly showered out of the sun. The sacred white lotus must be your emblem, and Horus, the hawk-eyed, merged in Ra, your special deity. Scarcely had I set foot once more in Egypt before Thoth lifted me into the boat of the sun, soothed my fears to sleep. And that's Thoth's road right there. Travels you into your Akashic, into the boat to remember. Not any UFO or false spiritual information you hear about Thoth. So you want to know the truth? This is where you find the truth, guys. The books of truth here in the past. And it goes on and on. I will stop. Let me know at the end if you want me to read some more at the end. So I just wanted you to see the glimpse of men and this beautiful man who wrote this book. And let us know, Gina, did you find the year of when that was written?
Yes, it was 1910.
1910, how beautiful is that? And it is a good, it's not a big book, but it's still 200, how many pages do we have here? 262 pages of the love for Egypt. That, not to be introduced into the British Empire USA, and the spell of Egypt, because this is removing the dark spell, and reminding us he's channeling. Ooh, how special. Ooh. I don't know where that's coming from, but that is divine. Looks like water, so he is reminding us of the real beauty of Egypt. All right, so we'll stop there for now. Nice. Tell me what you guys have so far. Questions, comments. Let's move on. We're good?
Yes, so somebody asked, could you please tell us about Zoroastrianism, which is the first one God religion? praying to the god prophet Zoroaster. And I'm not saying that correctly, I know, but I looked it up, and it is an Iranian religion centered on the Avesta and the teachings of Zarathustra, who is more commonly referred to the Greek translation Zoroaster. So, and it looks like, looking it up even more, it's very old religion.
Yeah.
And then it seems like after the 7th century, when Islam started having more Muslim conquests in Persia,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it started to decline with that being a popular religion.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And I do feel that it was not a religion, it was a belief, you know. They even talk about the scenes here, guys, and mention them. I mean, there's some really powerful information in here. So really good, and we'll continue on. So I think Gina did a beautiful job explaining that, and it's an original belief system that came from the Greek gods and love, and you know, when the gods walked among us and we were in communion with them.
Also, when you look,
When the world was fifth dimensional, higher. Go ahead, Gina.
I was just going to say, when you look it up,
Yeah.
the picture that they have
Mhm.
portraying Zoroastrianism,
Mhm.
it really looks Egyptian. It looks
Yeah.
Egyptian, and it's really beautiful. So it does feel really beautiful.
Yes, and then it's also like how he was explaining, you know, the communications with Thoth and Horus, and you know, she as Egypt, you know, that kind of beauty in it. Yeah, whatever that was, if it stayed original, or if you find the original. By the way, we're having an incredible time over here in Chicago. It's one of the windiest days. It's, guess what? Last time I looked it up, 47 miles gusts a wind. 47 miles. And last night it was like at 53 miles gusts a wind. I think one of my crystals is making that shape of water. Oh, I'm in water. So, all right, we're good.
And then somebody else said that in their particular language, the translation of the Zoroastrianism is fire worshiping religion, and that there's a flame burning in the fire temple in Iran that's been burning for 3,500 years.
Can I have a video on that? Gina, can you try to find that? Or if you have one, share it in chat and let's look at that. I'd be interested in seeing that for sure. It's not worshiping again, but it's just the words that they changed it to now. It's more like honoring and communion, and you know, like understanding the essence to what is within all elements, and you know, the fire, and yeah. Okay, so all right, so let me go over or we're going to go into the book, but before that we need to go to this time space that's going to help us understand, and the way that is going to connect to that time space, okay, and the now time space to the past time space. So with that, I do have to show you a couple videos and information. So let's go into the history though. You've been hearing of the Prince Reza, who is the last son. Now there's, you know, Wikipedia here, but he's the last son of the ruler. His father here, who was Mohammad Reza. Now we don't know of him completely. You know, he seems sometimes not so much of a good guy, but we definitely know that he was the better guy for sure. Because they were free at that time in their belief system, and what they weren't basically Muslim, and you know, Muslim regime hadn't conquered them. He was exiled though in 1979, and then his son, thank goodness, what a blessing, Reza was in America actually, and came to be a pilot the year before his father was taken out of office. I think he was killed. I didn't quite look into that. I'm sure he was. And his mother, though, so that's him, his father. And then this is his mother, who was Farah Pahlavi. And so that is basically the last family that was there before the takeover of the regime. Now, with this is you're going to find out who is in charge of this takeover back in what year was this published? I think it was like 1910, 1909 again. We're seeing that year again. But this was officially copyrighted in 1926, privately printed. And then first published public, though, in 1935. Publicly, 1926.
And A.U.R.A, his story with Lawrence of Arabia, or Lawrence, it started from World War One. So during the World War One times.
World War One. And here we are, guys. Oh, I didn't put it together till now. 1926 published privately. What year are we in? 2026. So we are literally going to be reading this 100 years exactly, you all. You can't make this up, to when it was privately printed. Here we go. Last American, you all, if you haven't seen that. And the 1,000 Years Missing of America, right? Tartarian lovers. And you're like, what happened? That is a crazy cool series. 4 episodes to take care of that little book. That was Mandela. So we'll see what Mandela's happened with this series, okay? All right, so that's that. Okay, now you've seen the videos where he's talking and he's telling the people to stand up for themselves, to stay strong, to not give up, to keep getting rid of this Islamic regime. He's been talking about it since he really seeked refuge here in America, and it looks like he was here since then, and that's how he stayed alive. Otherwise, if he would have been there, they probably would have killed him too, his son, which really, America, Divine Mother here, Dragon Mother, protected him here. Now let's look at some videos here. I just want to point out how beautiful this is here because it's so cute. I watched Melania, the movie. I'm not gonna go into it, but she is a strong shield of his, is what I can say. Maybe I'll talk about it later, because I did go to the almost inauguration. I did go to that last rally of his, that before he became president, and I went to the Maha Ball. So let me know if you want me to make a video of what I scanned through of her and her favorite color, black and white. And I mean, I saw, because I was there at I was there in person when he got inaugurated and the timelines that happened there, I see how much she had in making sure that he got inaugurated in and elected in. So let me know if you're interested in that kind of video. But I just want to point out how beautiful this is, and the role. This is First Lady office, and she calls herself FLOTUS, by the way, FLOTUS. The strength of America is closely tied to the role women play in shaping their children's character, education, and morals. The values cultivated within our community shape the voice and vision of our next generation. First Lady Melania Trump. That is absolutely true. For those of you who are watching my Channeling Hitler, you know that was said from Adolf Hitler and the German people then, that it was all about the woman, and the mothers were the most important role. That's how you shape the future, by raising beautiful children. And look at how cute they are. Do any of these children look like they're uncomfortable or crying? No, they're like, hey, what's up? I love you. So anytime you want to know if Trump is a good guy or a bad guy, watch the reaction to children. And I'm sure you could watch any kind of video. And they love both of these beautiful female and male, our president and our First Lady of America. Again, you all, watch Antarctica, Tartaria. Which one is that? I Survive Antarctica series, because we're going to talk about how much South America are Trump lovers. everywhere I went, the men love him. Okay, so you won't hear about that, right? Because in fake news, they won't tell you that. So a couple more videos here, just so you could understand. I just want to give homage to this beautiful video, and it was made of the women that were shamed because their hijab wasn't proper and they were blinded. Okay, just want to point that out. Other videos. This man does a really good job explaining here. Listen to him for a minute.
We're confused on what's going on in Iran, why the country is at war. Meanwhile, people are celebrating. To simplify this in a very short time, the first thing you should know is people of Iran are different from the government. Iranians are people with 7,000 years of culture. We celebrate life and happiness. On the other side, government is only 47 years old, and they are the people who are celebrating death, martyrism, and grieving. There's a huge difference.
That it is.
We call them, as they call themselves, Islamic Republic. And for us, they are an Islamist occupying mafia system. And when I say mafia, I mean...
You hear this? This is exactly what came out of the South Americans everywhere I went. If they didn't like their president in whatever country I was at, they would say that they were mafia, they were traffickers, and cartels. Okay? And what a beautiful man, by the way.
Excellent, too. You see, in 47 years, we Iranians tried our best to coexist with this fanatic regime. We tried to tolerate it. We went to many peaceful protests. We even attended their election to choose the lesser evil between them, hoping that this will bring a bit of change, a bit of happiness to us. It doesn't work. The nature of this regime is to destroy. So they neither change nor reform, and meanwhile, they actually use the wealth of the country. Instead of taking care of Iran, they spend it on malicious groups in regions like Houthis, Hamas, Hezbollah, and they spend our money to make missiles and weapons for other nations, for other groups, for other terrorists, and Iran day by day goes deeper and deeper into poverty. Remember the story of Mahsa Amini, the girl who didn't cover her hijab properly and they killed her.
Beautiful. So thank you. I love what he's saying here. So looking at this man, though, I feel like he's one of the men in the books for sure. I'm not going to say who exactly, but I want to show you a little bit of the beginning of this here. Let's see. Let me show you what I have. Okay. Here's a couple. Interesting. There's one. There's another. And these are just a couple. There's tons of pictures in here of these beautiful men. Gentle eyes. Who are being targeted. And you're going to find out through this book. Now, my goal is to get to page 47. We'll see if I get to it. 47, because there's an important message there. Okay? Let's see. Got that. Okay. Back to the prince. See, this is his father and his mother and his siblings. Okay? Prince Reza. And I don't know if he's gonna take over. Technically, he was crowned as a prince before, I think at 7 years old by his father. And he technically would be, but I don't know if he's accepting it. But what we do know is that he is a strong voice speaking, which is most important. So there is, in that picture, you saw there was an older sister here. Oh, and then there's here, before I show you that, there's this, there is his wife, who he actually met in San Francisco. In 1986, they met and married. And that's her. That's who you see with him. Always with him. There's pictures of their wedding, the children, grandchildren. How cute. Gina, did his mother survive? Who's this woman? Did his mother, Reza's mother, survive? We know that they killed his father, but his mother survived. So thank you, San Francisco, for, yeah. And the whole time he's been talking, he runs a organization against the Islamic regime since back then when his father was taken out. He's been head of this. Okay. So you can look more into him if you want, but this is an important man that we want to point out, and who's been the voice. And you know, like we can see it, like Mockingjay Hunger Games, and Katniss is the fire to the people not giving up. You need that strength there, and that's what he's been doing. I'm sure you have seen the videos. You can just interrupt me, Gina, anytime you want to mention anything. So we heard him. Let me see what else I have for you. There's tons of information, but I mean, just to remember how horrific this is, guys, and why we're doing this series, to free the rest of the Islamic controlled countries, because this is what they do. This is a Sharia law female flogging squad. Horrible. Okay. I mean, you can sense the pain in this female. You can sense the pain in her as she's being stood up. You saw her? It's horrible. Yeah, go ahead, Gina.
Yeah, it looks like she survived. They survived. Her husband looks like he passed from medical, but it looks like she and her family survived, and President Ronald Reagan allowed them to come live in the U.S.
Wow.
Yeah, and so she lived in the U.S. for a while, and also her children as well. And she continued with a lot of work for helping different types of international, I guess basically like volunteering her time and helping different people and groups. So she was really trying to continue the work of what an empress would do, or not an empress, but her role in what she and her husband continued on, like a prince and princess, queen and king would for her people.
Well, it's beautiful. So then I think that would have been her picture with her grandchildren there that I showed earlier. You don't want to see the videos. We already know the men marrying children, disgusting. I mean, but this is really what's happening, you all. What's up? I'd be at the center right there with them, dancing it off. Let's go. Why Iran? Guys, why Iran out of all countries? Look, they're not wearing hijabs. They're dancing it up. I mean, they're pretty good dancers, I think. People who could not dance like this. Wow. What's up? Good. I could show you endless videos. Little girl bleeding because they beat her, you know, here, kids being sold off. I mean, we're not. Just to show you the very ones I need to share with you. So many videos out there. So thankful for them. And the videos showing the gratitude, and the woman here, this powerful video of the woman You know, International Women's Day. Let's remember International Women's Day. Let's remember something. I couldn't read it, but yeah, the veiling. And these women are gorgeous and beautiful behind the veil. And these are the women who were beaten. This is a list of them who stood up against the hijab and unmasked their deaths. So sad. Look at her, wow. They have not been forgotten. That's so beautiful. Definitely has made me emotional. Just thinking about the flashes of those women that were shown there that you know, gave their life. It's pretty powerful. Thankful for them. So, I mean, at this point, anybody who would be against this and what the Trump administration has freed these people and they freed themselves really is huge. Here is if they are against that, I don't know you all. You know that they're clones and they're people very, very, very dark. What are they really? Are they really humans? If you walked around and saw people with their third eye, you realize how much non-humans there are on Earth. Let's hear him talk.
Launched missiles at the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Oman, Jordan, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia. It is targeting our Arab neighbors. These violations of their sovereignty are unacceptable and we condemn them. But this is nothing new. This is who the Islamic Republic has always been, and this is why it must end. For nearly 5 decades, this terrorist regime has sown chaos and bloodshed across our region. It propped up Assad, turning Syria into a graveyard. It planted Hezbollah as a state within a state in Lebanon. It armed the Houthis to destabilize the Arabian Peninsula. It empowered militias in Iraq to undermine Iraqi sovereignty. It attacked the economic hubs of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. None of this has ever been the desire of the Iranian people, but rather that of a regime occupying our country. Now, however, the landscape has fundamentally shifted. Assad is gone. Hezbollah has been decimated. The regime's military nuclear program has been set back. Its economy is in a free fall. The pillars of this regime's aggression are crumbling.
That they are.
The Iranian people have paid the price in blood to reach this moment.
And we'll leave it there. So just so you can hear how clearly he speaks, the Iranians are they're partying it up everywhere. They're powerful, they're beautiful. Their gratitude is very beautiful. Like here, this is for the fallen troops, American troops who went and freed them. It makes me emotional again. I recognize these beautiful men who are doing this, you know, who have uncursed themselves, who have broken the spell, who are free souls now, who were perhaps in a soul-eating kind of situation, who were contained in an inverted matrix, have become free. So I just wanted you to feel that gratitude that is everywhere. And I mean, let's just see some more dancing. Let's go, girls. What's up? Let's go. Yeah. Let's. I love seeing people dance. Jewish and Israel. They're healing the Jewish and Iranian bloodlines. I mean, that whole separation is being healed. All right, I'm gonna finish up here because we want to go into the book. This is interesting though, bringing it back to 1980 when I was being conceived.
The situation is a case in point. That this country sits back and allows a country such as Iran to hold our hostages, to my way of thinking, is a horror.
You're advocating that we should have gone in there with troops, etc., and brought our boys out.
I absolutely feel that, yes. I don't think there's any question, there's no question in my mind. I think right now would be an oil-rich nation. I think this country is responsible for that war by its own weaknesses. If we were respected, properly respected as a country and as a people and as a nation, I don't think that you would have a war going on right now between Iran and Iraq.
Would you like to be the president of the United States?
I really don't believe I would, Ronald.
Most people who are capable are not running for office. Most men are frightened of politics today.
It is a shame, isn't it?
Yes.
It is a shame.
Why wouldn't you dedicate yourself to public service?
Because I think it's a very mean life. I would love and I would dedicate my life to this country, but I see it as being a mean life. And I also see it as somebody with strong views and somebody with the kind of views that are maybe a little bit unpopular, which may be right, but may be unpopular, wouldn't necessarily have a chance of getting elected against somebody with no great brain but a big smile. And that
I love him. My God, you all. So he wasn't for it then, but he's here. He took it on how many years later? 1980, what year are we on? 46 years later? He decided to say yes to that question. Oh my God, I love him infinitely. All right, we're looking at, if we're in Cuba, what's up? I mean, look at her. She is that young girl in that picture I showed you with the family of the Prince Reza. She's the oldest daughter of them who survived. The other three are dead, by the way. They ascended out. So only them, or two, I think. Oh, so they only two are alive. The older and sister and Reza. So just want to send her some love. 80s guys were the best. So let me see. I mean, this lady knows what's up. She's just cute.
But why? What do you think about Donald Trump?
I love Donald Trump. He's strong. He said he do it.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't like him?
No, I voted for Joe Biden.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Never was it.
And then I voted for Kamala.
Never vote for Democrat. No one. The asshole.
You don't like Kamala?
We'll leave it at that. And then here's the Prince Reza and the reaction to the people. Look. His wife. It's making me emotional. I think because I read the book, the beginning of this book, and I see how beautiful, and to see these men back is just wow. You know, people dancing for Trump and so much beauty. What's up, you freaking jerks?
I hate this, but I believe I should inject anything. But I do not want to leave the impression.
Okay, wait, he completely fully, just fully vindicated President Trump and said he has zero Epstein involvement. Well, thank you. We knew that already, but thank you from one of the main bad guys. Let's go. All right, but let's start the book now. Questions, comments before we go into the books.
Yeah, so the person who was talking about the video with the flame, they gave two links I think you should maybe check out real quick. One is showing the actual flame, and the other one shows how the flame, the temple, the sacred flame temple, they recognize Pahlavi as their leader, the temporary leader of the Persian Republic. So I thought that was really beautiful how they honor him with a sacred flame.
Beautiful. Okay, so that's the links at the top, right?
Yeah, at the top.
Okay, let me check this out. So what is this? Oh, the flame? You're kidding. Oh, wow. So they never let her go out. Oh. Oh my god, that is special. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Let me see what else we got here that you shared. And then it says the sacred flame recognizes him, Reza Pahlavi, appointed temporary leader of Persian Republic. So can you tell me, how does it recognize him? Gina, do you know about that?
So looking through the article, basically they're seeing him as recognizing as the leader of the people, the transitional leader of the Persian Republic.
Yes.
And if you've heard of when Yeshua was born, you heard the three wise men or the Magi. They're also saying that the guidance of the Magi and then the Zoroastrian beliefs that we talked about earlier, they're also supporting him as well. So all those the sacred beliefs and sacred beings that are protecting the different lands that have been doing that, they're supporting him as well.
Beautiful. Okay, and then Zen, you said you're gonna send me a video of the dove. Did you do that? Let me see. You might have already done it.
And one thing that they beautifully said, I think, is that they said it's rebuilding a nation to hand it back to its people, guided by the eternal principles of Asha or the sacred teachings that they lived with the wisdom of their magi and other sacred beings. So the sacredness of they're handing it back to the people, and they believe that he's the one to help them.
Okay, beautiful. Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments before we go into the book? Did anybody read the book on their own? Tell me in the comments. 7 Pillars of Wisdom. Did you ever read it? I know you've seen the movies. Yeah.
Well, somebody said it's their first live that they've been looking through your videos and watching you for the past couple of weeks. Yeah. And that they've learned so much over the last couple of weeks with your truth and the teachings and your dedication to everybody, and they're so excited to join the first live today.
Oh, beautiful. Welcome. Love you. Any other questions? We're good? Comments?
Everything looks good now.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, and okay. So now we're gonna go into the book. Here we go. Now add the link, Gina, to the chat where you guys can review the book. I'm gonna show it to you on the screen, easier, but I do have the book again here. Okay, so I have notes for you all. Let me see, can I make this separate? Oh yeah, I can. Okay, cool. Okay. So that we don't have to read word per word, I have gone through and read up to page 59. We'll see how far we get into it for today. Okay. Again, just interrupt me, questions and comments as people are speaking them. I went over that, Make sure I covered everything I had on my list. Hold on. Got that. Yeah. Okay. All right, and as before we start our book, we are going to have my infomercial now. Thank you for bearing with me through these couple minutes of my infomercial. Go to my website. Here on my website, I talked to you guys about it last week, but I have sacred essences, sacred herbs, perfumes, oils, and sprays that I am making. Incredible. So let's go. Let me show you where you can find that on my website, risingphoenixaurora.com. And here, if you click where it says about Aurora books, oils, jewelry, you click essential oil fragrances. And then here it is. Today's, which goes with what I'm about to share with you. Stay tuned because something's happening to the earth right now. And then I'll go over the book. I almost forgot that. Is that Force protection. 4 is Archangel Michael and the Prince of Light. So basically the twin brothers that you always hear in every story that you can think of, especially indigenous stories, the twin brothers, right? So that's them. They're one though. And so to this week, I am featuring Force protection. So I am going to read this out to you because it's so beautiful. Okay. And then we'll continue on. So here are, so again, oil-based. I think my favorite is the oil-based, but water, they're both my favorite. Is so divine because the water is Lake Michigan water, because here in Chicago, they give us Lake Michigan water, but it's ran through a filter though and cleansed and so on. But Lake Michigan water, hey. So let's read that. Force protection, Divine Father, shields of love, frankincense, patchouli, lavender, marjoram, hylichrysum with black tourmaline crystals. So I decided every one of these have several crystals at the bottom. So you see there's black tourmaline crystals for protection. And this is what Divine Father said happens when you wear this. Wear this essential oil blend to feel the divine love and protection of I, Divine Father of creation. Know that my brilliance has always been within you and surrounding you. In the deepest happiness, joy, sorrows, and wounds, I held you in my etheric embrace. Heal your relationship with the Divine Masculine by remembering that any disharmony with the masculine is a distortion of societal programming. Sprinkle this oil fusion, igniting the remembrance of the true guardian embodiment archetype of the Divine Masculine. With every intake of breath through this scent, you intake my essence, which will remind you to fall in love with honor and respect once more with the nearest and farthest of the Divine Masculine. Divine Father, Archangel 4, Archangel Michael and the Prince of Light. Channeled by myself. Thank you. Beautiful. So check that out under my website. You can buy them individually or the whole collection, and you get 3 for free if you do the whole collection. All right. And it's 14 of them. Beautiful. Smells so good. I'm addicted to the smells. Gina, did you get yours? I know you ordered the whole collection.
They should be here soon.
Nice.
Excited. I'm really, really excited.
I know. Whoo, guys, for real, you can't miss out on this. And then Divine Father of Creation's energy is really in here, you all, because he blessed them. Okay, let's go. Only source of light. So with that, it reminds me that this I need to speak about. What's been happening here in Chicago? Tell me if it's been happening in your side of the world. Purple lightning has been happening. Now we've seen it from time to time, but in the last week and a half, 2 storms have happened and it was purple lightning. And let me show to you the proof. So this is a video of me recording the lightning storm. Let me fast forward to, okay. So I stood there for a couple of minutes and I kept, there, you see it? Ooh wee! Hold on. Let's see that again. Whoa, right there, right. You see it? And I got a picture of it too, though. Oh, that's epic, though. Purple lightning. Okay. Something very important about this. Let me explain to you what it is. Now, there's a picture of it. I did have an aura session, past life regression, where there was a client that went into some of what the purple lightning is. What I can tell you is that it is an activation of divine masculine energy. And what the divine said was that this energy was going to be further assisting the masculine that are going to rise up and awaken, especially into their true divine masculine role, as Divine Father's channeled message just said. Okay, has it been happening over there with you? Let me know. And this energy feels absolutely incredible. Now, a couple days before I had this aura session, I was watching the purple lightning the first time in this period. And I was watching God Indra, who was actually from Thailand, interesting enough. And he was floating in the clouds. And he's the god of, he's definitely the god of lightning, clouds, and mists. But he was in there. And he said that he was working on the divine masculine. And then I have the session. You know, you can't make this stuff up a couple days after. And they furthermore explain that. Now, there's something really big about this purple lightning. Okay? Because we know that we are inside a plasma ball, as Nikola Tesla has taught us, of course. Lightning reflects back and forth between the crystalline energy. If there was no crystalline energy, crystalline dome, or as the firmament is what it's called in the Bible, if there wasn't there, then the lightning would just shoot up infinitely into the astral, right? There'd be nothing there. But just like a plasma ball, the little kid plasma ball, right? Something is keeping it in. So there's a crystalline dome above us. Okay, that's just science. That's just matter of fact. That's just common sense, you all. So with that, I want to show you, somebody shared this in my Telegram group. By the way, I have a new Telegram group. The other one, I lost access to it. So don't join that one. I got to change the correct link. Maybe Gina can add that for you guys. Okay, so somebody shared this in a Telegram group, which is so epic. So scientists capture treetops ultraviolet sparkles during thunderstorms for the first time. Wait a minute. Hold on. Trees emit ultraviolet sparkle lightning out of them. Now you know what's that purple lightning, you all. You get it, right? The purple lightning is the top of the giant trees of life, of the giant trees that used to be here before they, you know, kind of, we can't see them because we're not in a 5D, or some of them were cut off. So the purple lightning is coming out of the tips of the giant trees that are connecting to the crystalline dome above us. You understand? That's what that lightning is. And it's running through all the fifth dimensional construct. Know that when you're seeing that lightning, you're seeing the fifth dimensional crystalline construct of the trees, the giant trees. Just like you saw the tips of that, that's what's coming out of them. That video I showed you where the lightning, the purple lightning was, that was a tree there. And the tips of that. Isn't that epic? Wow. Let's see anything else on that. Let's watch this video on, also that was shared there. So this is scalar energized. So Kirlian photography of a seed before scalar energized, after scalar energized. Okay, so we emit ultraviolet energy. Once more, it tells you what else would be making that up there but a life form. Okay? Our fingers, look at that. Emit out ultraviolet. Incredible. The cells, look at this leaf. It's cut off. Scientists have proven that even if it's cut off, the crystalline blueprint of it is still there. Physically, it could be cut off like carbon-based, but the crystalline ultraviolet is still emitting through the leaf of your plant and your tree. You're cool, huh? Energy doesn't disappear. It's still there. It's like the DNA, right? Of humankind. They try to mess with it, but it's still there, and it's just, might be a little asleep sometimes if we're not working quantumly. Sign up to our courses, 20% off this month, guys. And you learn how to do these things at quantum level, right? But cut right here, this cut off. Technically, it's not. Technically, the energy's still there because it still has this crystalline blueprint, which is what your DNA is your crystalline blueprint of who you are, who you've been, and who you will become. Holds it all. So cool. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Questions, comments? Epic, huh?
No questions or comments right now.
Have people been seeing purple lightning where they're at?
I don't see any in the chat, but I know a few other people have recently talked about it.
Well, here at the heart of Chicago, we have. Exciting. Okay, so we'll probably run this another half an hour, so let's see how we go. All right. We are now on the 7 pillars of wisdom. Thank you for this beautiful man, Caucasian man, who really became Arabian. All right. Okay, so here's the front cover of it. Here's the summary intro of it. So out of the chaos and confusion of humanity's greatest single experience, the mechanized world war, there arose a vivid individual leader whose story, recorded in a book, achieves the crystal atmosphere of the classics. The leader was T.E. Lawrence of Arabia, and his book, 7 Pillars of Wisdom. In its noble pages is the odyssey of one man's soul, a record of high endeavor, filled with the martial, Homeric music, and the adventure and the philosophy of a soldier who was a master English stylist. This is the complete, unabridged, definitive edition of 7 Pillars of Wisdom. It is frank, beautiful, great, touched with legend and mystery, and experience in reading, which in its many rich rewards is without parallel in the literature of our generation. Wow. So poetic, beautiful there. 7 Pillars of Wisdom. I think this is a picture of him. Yeah, that is him before he became Arabic. Okay. Because there's pictures of him more in the book. Probably won't be able to get to where he is in, rap, Arabic rap and raps and stuff. Okay, there it is where I mentioned privately printed 1926, 2026. What's up? All right, and here is a poem to S.A. I don't know who S.A. is. Maybe his love? I don't know. If you figure it out, Gina, do let us know. I loved you, so I drew these tides of men into my hands and wrote my will across the sky in stars. To earn you freedom. I think he's talking about the land. The 7-pillared worthy house that your eyes might be shining for me. When we came, Death seemed my servant on the road till we were near and saw you waiting. When you smiled in a sorrowful envy, he outran me and took you apart into his quietness. Love the way where he groped to your body, our brief wage, ours for the moment. Before Earth's soft hand explored your shape and the blind worms grew fat upon your substance. Men prayed me, and I sat our work, the inviolate house as a memory of you. But for fit monuments, I shattered it, unfinished it, and now the little things creep out to patch themselves hovels in the mere shadow of your gift. What happened to men? They used to write like this? Man, women, tell me you wouldn't fall in love with a man if he wrote to you like this. Wow. Yeah. Let's go, you all. Let's activate this in the men again. All right, so I mean, this is a I can never say the word synopsis. Yeah, synopsis. Okay, and it's very detailed. So, but we're gonna skip it though because it goes into a lot. Like, I mean, I just read it really quick. This part because there's several synopsis because apparently he has several books. Halfway through the labor of an index in this book, I recalled the practice of my 10-year study of history and realized I had never used the index of a book fit to read. Who would insult the decline and fall by insulting it just upon a specific moment? I am aware that my achievement as a writer falls short of every conception of the readable, but surely not so far as to make it my duty like a stubs to save readers in pain of an unnecessary page. The contents seem to me adequately finger-posted by this synopsis. Introduction, the foundation of Arab revolt. He is the leader of the Arab revolt, and I think they needed it because it seemed like the other Caucasian men were against him, against the Arab men, who were so kind and gentle then. Some Englishmen, of whom Kitchener was chief, believed that a rebellion of Arabs against Turks, that's who it was, guys. Who did it? The Turkish. The Ottoman regime war. Okay? And you're going to hear about that, how they did it in this book. So Arabs against Turkish would enable England while fighting Germany simultaneously to defeat her ally Turkey. Their knowledge of the nature and power of the country Arabic-speaking peoples made them think that the issue of such a rebellion could be happy, and indicated that its character and method. So they allowed it to begin, having obtained formal assurance. So back to Germany, this is Germany before Hitler, obviously. So whoever that guy was, seems like he was in cahoots with Turkey. So not a so good guy there, but yeah. So they allowed it to begin, having obtained formal assurance of help for it from British government. Yet nonetheless, but technically it's the British, guys. So yet nonetheless, the rebellion of the Sheriff of Mecca came to most as a surprise and found the allies unready. It aroused mixed feelings and made strong friends and enemies, amid whose clashing jealousies its affairs began to miscarry. Now, we won't go into that because he goes into further introductions here, but he wanted us to go into it, but it's too much. His first book and the synopsis. How do you say it, Gina? Synopsis? Synopsis. Okay. Synopsis to book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4, book 5, book 6, book 7, book 8, book 9, 10. Boom. 10 is X in Roman? I like it. All right. X chromosome, female chromosome. 10, completion. Let's go. Okay. So illustrations, he basically thinks the illustrations, because they're beautiful illustrations of the Arabian man he met. And here are some of the illustrators. Deep into that, guys. Deep. Wow. And the pages and who illustrated them. And he says, this note by the author refers particularly to the privately printed subscribers edition of 1926. So he has subscribers then. What's up? Come become a member to my website. So that's cool. They had that then. So that's where he printed it in like a group like you guys, subscribers. 1926. Here we are in 2026. Subscribe to my channel. Wow. This contained a total of 125 illustrations, and the majority of them, apart from tail pieces reproduced in the text, were in color. Wow, those must have been pretty in color. I don't have it in color. I have it in black and white. To know, though, that as we look at them, so those are all the illustrations named, and he's giving love and respect to those illustrators. Thank you to them. All right, continue on, and more ways that these were printed. And detailed they were in their printing and illustrators then. All right, we are now on chapter 1, page 28. Introduction. Foundation of Revolt, chapters 1 through whatever this number is. Some Englishmen, of whom Kushner was chief, believed that a rebellion of Arabs against Turks would enable England, while fighting Germany simultaneously, to defeat her ally Turkey. Okay, their knowledge of the nature and power and country of the Arabic-speaking peoples made them think that the issue of such a rebellion would be happy, and indicated its character and method. So they allowed it to begin, having obtained for it formal assurance of help from the British government. Yet nonetheless, the rebellion of the Sheriff of Mecca came to Mosul as a surprise and found the allies unready. So they thought that they were basically, the British thought that they had them, but then they're like, I don't think so. I think you're a bad guy. Some kind of retreat is happening there with the Arabian men not consenting to it. So it aroused mixed feelings and made strong friends and strong enemies, amid whose clashing jealousies its affairs begin to miscarry. So this is where we see it, guys, right there. The British conquer through the use of Turkish men and potentially German then. Okay? Let's go into that. Chapter 1. So let me read what I have written here. So we're on page 28, 29, 31. Nope. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to read this and then we're going to go to page 31. Okay. Some of the evil of my tale may have been inherent in our circumstances. For years we lived anyhow, which one another in the naked desert, under the indifferent heaven. By the day the hot sun fermented us, and were dazzled by the beating wind. At night we were stained by dew and shamed into pettiness by the innumerable silence of stars. We were a self-centered army without parade or gesture, devoted to freedom, the second of man's creeds, a purpose so ravenous that it devoured all our strength, a hope so transcendent that our earlier ambitions faded in its glare. So again, this is the revolt, the revolution, that they're not conforming to the Turkish, specifically the Turkish is who's mentioned in this book that is killing them, and who are controlled by the UK. As time went by, our need to fight for the ideal increased to an unquestionable possession, riding with spur and rein over our doubts. Willy-nilly, it became a faith. It's cute. They were referencing that then. We had sold ourselves into its slavery, manacled ourselves together in its chain gang, bowed ourselves to serve its holiness with our good and ill in content. With all our good and ill content. The mentality of our ordinary human slaves is terrible. They have lost the world and we had surrendered, not body alone, but soul to the overmastering greed of victory. By our own act, we were drained of morality, of volition, of responsibility, like dead leaves in the wind. The everlasting battle stripped from us. So he's talking about basically what it was to fight against these Turkish, the exhaustion, something's driving them. The everlasting battle stripped from us care of our own lives or of others. We had ropes about our necks and our heads, prices which showed that their bounty on them, that the enemy intended hideous tortures for us if we were caught. Each day some of us passed, and in the living knew themselves just sentient puppets on God's stage. Indeed, our taskmaster was merciless so long as our bruised feet and stagger forced on the road. The weak invite these tired enough to die, for success looks so remote and failure a near a certain. Oh, there's rappers then, guys. They're the official OGs right there. The weak invite these tired enough of die, for success looks so remote and failure near certain. Gina, drop a beat. I'm kidding, you don't have to do that. If sharp, release from toil. Just like a rap. We lived always in the stretch or sag of nerves, either under crest or in the throe of waves of feeling. This impotency was bitter to us and made us live only for the seen horizon, reckless what spite was inflicted or endured, since physical sensation showed itself meaningly transient. Gusts of cruelty, perversions, lusts ran lightly over the surface without troubling us, for the moral laws which had seemed to hedge about these silly accidents must be, I don't know if I'm saying that right, must be yet fainter words. We had learned that there were pangs too sharp, griefs too deep, ecstasies too high for our finite selves to register. When emotion reached this pitch, the mind choked and memory went white till the circumstances were humdrum once more. Wow, that is powerful. What do you think, Gina, so far? Questions, comments?
No questions or comments so far, but looking up the essay mystery, who it's dedicated to, there's so many theories and scholars have tried to figure it out.
Yeah.
There's no one person, really. They really believe it's to the land, like Syria, Arabia, and they really believe it's the land.
Beautiful. That's what I was sensing when I read it. Okay, so we could go on and on about this, but I'm going to try to save time. But it's so poetic and beautiful. All right, let's just read this a couple more paragraphs. Such exaltation of thought, while it lit adrift the spirit and gave it license in strange airs, lost it the old patient rule over the body. The body was too coarse to feel the utmost of our sorrows, of our joys. Therefore, we abandoned it as rubbish. We left it below us to march forward in a breaching simulacrum on its own unaided level, subject to influences from which in normal times our instincts would have shrunk. The men were young and sturdy. The hot flesh and blood unconsciously claimed a right in them, and tormented in their bellies in strange longings. Our privations and dangers fanned the virile heat in a climate as racking as can be conceived. We had no shut places to be alone in, no thick clothes to hide our nature. Man in all things lived candidly with man. The Arab was my nature continent, and the use of universal marriage had nearly abolished irregular courses in his tribes. The public women of the rare settledness were encountered in our months of wandering would have been nothing to our numbers, even had their rattled meat been palatable in a man of healthy parts. In horror of such hoarded commerce, a use began indifferently a sack of another's few needs. And so on and so on and so on. So romantic. Okay, we're gonna move on to page, thank you. Page 32. Okay, what's going on page 32?
AuroRa is really incredible.
Yeah.
This man who has been fighting and battling these people, falling in love with them, and the way he describes them, he says it with such passion and love. You don't hear men speaking with love and passion like that, and it's so beautiful. He has that for the people in the lands there, and he's not even fighting. He just fell in that deep in love with the people.
Yes, and the land and the people. Wow. And the woman. Okay, well, if you are a husband, think about writing poems to your wife like this. Just think about it. And if you are a woman, ask your husband to write you a poem. I think it's possible. Let's ask them to channel their inner love, divine passion for you. And if they were to write a poem for you and your body and your soul, how would they write it? Come on, just for fun. All right, so page 32, I want to reference here. But let me read what was the last sentence before that, because it's an ongoing sentence here. In my case, the effort for these years to live in the dress of Arabs and to imitate their mental foundation quieted me of my English self. Oh, that's powerful. All right, let me just, wait. No, there's something I'm supposed to read here. Hold on. As much as I try to skip here. Hold on. Okay, let's go here. A man who gives himself to a possession of aliens leads a Yahoo life. Okay, this is the beginning. He mentions aliens, and he's not mentioning aliens like immigrant aliens. He's saying aliens, guys. And wait till you hear how he references them. He's talking about aliens. Okay, so let's just read this really quick, because we need to understand why he's saying that. Blood was always on our hands. We were licensed to it. Wounded and killing seemed ephemeral. Pain, so very brief, and sorrow was life with us. With the sorrow of living so great, the sorrow of punishment had to be pitiless. We lived for the day and died for it. When there was a reason and desire to punish, we wrote our lesson with gun and whip immediately in the sullen flesh of sufferer, and the case was beyond appeal. The desert did not afford the refined, slow penalties of courts and goals. He's explaining basically how they're going up against the Turkish, and you'll understand that more as I read. Of course, our rewards and pleasures were as suddenly sweeping as our troubles, but to me in particular, they bulk less large. Bedur, maybe ways were hard and even for those brought up to them, and for strangers terrible, a death in life. When the march of labor ended, I had no energy to record sensation, nor while it lasted any leisure to see the spiritual loveliness which sometimes came upon us by the way. In my notes, the cruel rather than the beautiful found place, we no doubt enjoyed more the rare moments of peace and forgetfulness. But I remember more the agony, the terrors, and the mistakes. Our life is not summed up in what I have written. There are things not to be repeated in cold blood for very shame. But what I have written was in and of our life. Pray God that men reading the story will not, for the love of glamour or strangeness, go out to prostitute themselves and their talents in serving another race. Okay? He talks about men prostituting themselves to an alien race. What does that mean? They are selling their soul, their body, prostitutes to an alien. Aliens, as he says here. A man who gives himself to possession of aliens leads a Yahoo life, having bartered his soul to a brute master. Okay, and you'll find out more on how he referenced aliens. He is not of them. So there we are, guys. There is aliens, dark aliens in this time space. Okay, so let's read this again. He is not of them. Okay, a man who gives himself to be a possession of aliens leads a Yahoo life, having bartered his soul to a brute master. He is not of them. He may stand against them, persuade himself of a mission, batter and twist them into something which they, of their own accord, would not have been. He's talking about aliens. Then he is exploiting his old environment to press them out of theirs. Or after my motto, he may imitate them so well that they spiritually imitate him back again. The aliens again. Then he is giving away his own environment, pretending to theirs, and pretenses are a hollow. Yep, so their alien pretenses are hollow, worthless things. I'm seeing grays. In neither case does he do a thing of himself, nor a thing to clean as to be his own. Yeah, hybrid humanoids already without thought of conversion. So basically, some of those grays and the hybrid humanoids that are traveling back in that time when there is a rip in time-space continuance. In neither case does he do a thing of himself, nor a thing to clean as to be his own without thought of conversion. So he's talking about the men selling their souls to aliens right now, letting them take what action or reaction they please from the silent example. In any case, the effort for these years to live in the dress of Arabs and to imitate their mental foundation quieted me of my English self and let me look at the West and its convention with new eyes. They destroyed it all for me. At least the same time, I could not sincerely take on the Arab. Finishing chapter 1, skin. It was an affectation only. Easily was a man made an infidel, but hardly might be converted to another faith. I had dropped one form and not taken on the other, and what was become like Muhammad's coffin in our legend. Now, Muhammad in this perspective was positive, like the real Muhammad, just like Yeshua and the way they twisted the Bible. So not the real Muhammad, not to be mistaken for the bad Muhammad, and how they claim he slept with little girls, which is a lie. Also, they talk about the Quran, and they different names, by the way. The way they're spelled is different. I don't know if we'll get to it, but I'm telling you, the names are different, spelled differently. So when they change the names, they also dark spell the names that they're using. And in their time space, Muhammad did not sleep with a little girl and wife her, violate her. It's a lie. All that is written in the Qumra, I can't even say it. How do you say it, Gina?
The Quran.
The Quran, all of that in the Quran, that Bible that is harming and wanting to kill and whatever and blah 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 is false. It's added by the aliens that he's talking about here. When they conquer the Arabian man, they change the Quran and add all this. You understand? Written benevolently by Muhammad in his legend, with a resultant feeling of intense loneliness in life and in a contempt not for other men, but for all they do. Such detachment came at times to a man exhausted by prolonged physical effort in isolation. His body plodded on mechanically, while his reasonable mind left him, and from without looked on critically on him, wondering what that futile lumber did and why. Sometimes these selves would converse in void, and the madness was very near, as I believe it would be near the man who could see things through the veils at once of two customs, two educations, two environments. So he's talking about here is what's happening to the men and the confusion and the fight that he's fighting to stay a man that is not going to harm the Arabs or is friends with the Arabs and is trying to keep them alive. And the ways that there are two customs, two educations, two environments, basically their original customs of the Arabian man, the Iranian man, who were Persian men, their original customs versus what is trying to be reformed to them by the Turkish aliens. He calls them aliens. What's up with that? He says they're aliens. And as I've read 70 something pages, he references no other race as aliens in this book. Okay? Why is that? I'm sure we'll discover there more. Looking at a map here, this is Persia. See, this is Persia, but this is Iran. Right under the Caspian Sea, this is Iran. In between the Persian Gulf and the Caspian Sea. This is Iran now. Powerful lands that were once called Persian. This is Turkey right here. These aliens are somehow here and being controlled by the UK and their aliens to come attack Persia, Iran, and all these other lands, Arabia, Egypt, you know, wherever that he traveled, Lawrence did. Okay, so let me see what else I want to mention here. Page are we on? We're going to go another 10 minutes and we're going to conclude today's video. And next week, I'm back to Antarctica. I survived Antarctica, and we're going to step foot on Antarctica physically there with my pictures and videos. Okay, we're on page 33. What do I need to read there? Introduction to the first paragraph. So let's read the first paragraph here. First difficulty of the Arab movement was to say who the Arab were. Okay? Being a manufactured people, their name had been changing in sense slowly year by year. Once it meant an Arabian. There was a country called Arabia, but this was nothing to the point. There was a language called Arabic, and in it lay the test. It was the current tongue of Syria and Palestine, of Mesopotamia, and the great peninsula called Arabia on the map. Before the Muslim conquest, see how it is not with an I, it's with an E. And it's not with a U, it's an O. See that? So that's the original verbiage of Muslim conquest. So it's talking about even before the Muslim conquest of Muhammad, these areas were inhabited by diverse peoples speaking languages of the Arabic family. We called them Semitic, but as with most scientific terms, incorrectly. However, Arabic, Assyrian, Babylonian, Phoenician, that sounds like phoenixes, Hebrew, Aramaic, Syriac were related tongues and indications of common influences in the past, or even of a common origin, were strengthened by our knowledge that the appearances and customs of the present Arabic-speaking peoples of Asia, while as varied as a field full of poppies, had an equal and essential likeness. We might, with perfect property, call them cousins, and cousins certainly, if sadly aware of their own relationship. So before the whole Muslim conquest, they were, cousins. The Arabic-speaking areas of Asia, in this sense, were a rough parallelogram. The northern side ran from Alexandria on the Mediterranean across Mesopotamia eastward to the Tigris. The south side was the edge of Indian Ocean from the Eden to Moscow, which is the map that is being here. He's explaining that here, okay, where they were at. On the west, it is bounded by the Mediterranean, Suez Canal, and the Red Sea to Aden. On the east, by the Tigris and the Persian Gulf by Moscow. This square of land, as large as India, formed the homeland of our Semitites, in which no foreign race had kept a permanent footing. These through Egyptians, Hittites, Philistines, Persians, Greeks, Romans, Turks, and Franks had variously tried. All had in the end been broken, and their scattered elements, so basically they were free people. No, all this maybe have tried. They're freed people, so Turks had variously tried. Romans, Turks, and Franks variously had tried before. They had tried before, okay? Before they started kind of putting this Muslim conquest. Okay, so they tried before. All of them here have variously tried. All in the end been broken, and their scattered elements drowned in the strong characteristics of Semitic race. So they couldn't conquer them before, okay? Semites had sometimes pushed outside this area, themselves been drowned in the outer world. Egypt, Algiers, Morocco, Malta, Sicily, Spain, Cilicia, and France absorbed and obliterated Semitic colonies. Only in a Tripoli of Africa and in the everlasting miracle of Jewry had distant Semites kept some of their identity and force. The origin of these peoples was an academic question. So powerful people, all these people have tried, and they couldn't get into Egypt and the Middle East. Wow.
And
So
AU.R.A, it seems
they would have
like
been dark people. Yeah, go ahead.
it seems like so you've heard of Semitic and anti-Semitic saying they're against the Jews, but it seems like these were talking about the original Jewish people of the lands as well.
Yeah.
The Semitic people, the original peoples of the land that were organically there.
Yes. Yes. Okay, we're on page 34. It's beautiful to read, guys. I do want to skip, but we're saving time. So here, last paragraph. Speaking of the desert, it's so beautiful the way it's spoken here. The desert which performed this great function around the oasis, I think it's supposed to be oasis, but they spell it oasis, O-A-S-E-S, and so made the character of Arabia varied in nature. South of the oasis, it appeared to be a pathless sea of sand, stretching nearly to the populous escarpment of the Indian Ocean shore, shutting it out from Arabian history and from all influence on Arabian morals and politics. Hadharmat, as they called the southern coast, formed part of the history of Dutch Indies, and its thought swayed Java rather than Arabia. To the west of the oasis, between them, the Hejaz Hills, was the Nejd Desert, an area of gravel and lava. Hold on. Gina, is there lava actively in the Nejd Desert or Hejaz Hills? Not that I've heard of, but let us know. To the east of these oases, between them and Kuwait, spread a similar expanse of gravel, but with some great stretches of soft sand making the road difficult. To the north, the oasis by a belt of sand, and then an immense gravel and lava plain, filling up everything between the eastern edge of Syria and the banks of Euphrates. Is there lava by Euphrates where Mesopotamia began?
It looks like the Nejd Desert has a lot of lava flows and volcanic debris. And they say that's
Whoa!
part of their geological features.
What?
And they say, yeah, they say it's significant volcanic activity.
Wow, beautiful. So then there's a giant lava tree there. Nice, probably under the mud floods. Okay. What else? The practicability of this northern desert for men and motor cars enabled the A.U.R.A revolt to win its ready success. Basically, they can't get in, right? Nice. This goes on and on. Let me see what else I want to share here. What else? So that was page 34. We're about to finish up, guys. So we're going to conclude soon here. And there's going to be part 2. We'll see how far this goes. Let me know if you like it. Hit subscribe, hit like, write in comments. You guys like this? Should continue on. Let's continue on to where at least I got to page 59. Okay. This is interesting. In here, what is it? I like it when I find things that people write in here from their time space, because they're leaving clues from their time space to us. It's epic. There's a note here. Hold on. It's 247. Where's the note? Let me try to find you. And I leave the notes where they're at. should have wrote down where the note was at. Hold on, guys. Maybe you'll pop up. Come on, pop up for me. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, oh. Just saw it. 447, 47. 447. That's where the note is at. This page. This doesn't say the year, but it's a long time ago that this is written. Okay? And 446. 446, my birthday 46, and 447, 47, president, right? Okay, isn't that something big, you guys? In between 446 and 447, this note is written. And it references us to a couple things. One, it references us to page 244, which I don't know what's this gonna partake for us, because I didn't get there. Something in 244, this man who wrote this letter is taking us to, and we'll have to leave that for next time. We'll try to get to 244 next time. But this is what the letter says, okay? So this is, let me show you what the letter looks like. Okay, I'm gonna read it out. It's like old faded paper. You can't really see it because the sun's shining on it. And there must be something important on 446 and 447. There's also some important things on 446 in this, like 44, let me show you. Well, I can't show you because we're not going to be able to get to it. Page 46 and 47 are important in this book. Page 446 and 447 are important in this book. Okay? And something in 244. All right, but we'll have to leave that as a cliffhanger because we're not there yet. But this is what the letter says. It's hard to read the writing, but I'm going to do my best, so bear with me, okay? Lawrence of Arabia by Anthony. I can't read that. Something Trotting. Quoting from Oxford. Quoting from the Oxford edition of 7 Pillars of Wisdom. Is this book from Oxford? I know that. Yeah, it sure seems like it. And whoever this guy is from Oxford and wrote this for us. Okay. A quote. It could not have been my development, for no one ever held the body in less honor than I did myself. I think this is Lawrence. I don't know if Lawrence wrote this, but it's his quote for sure. It feels like it. Probably it had been the breathing of the spirit by the nerve. I'm so sorry, guys.
Is it in cursive?
It is in cursive. It's in cursive. I'm gonna take a picture and you see if you can try to read it. By the friggin' nerve. Okay, spirit by the nerve therapy. All right, we're gonna go into this and read it for you guys next time. And see if we could make out the words. Which had degraded me to best level when I made me gravel to, and which had journeyed with me since a fascination and more desire, lascivious of vicious perhaps, but like the striving of the moth striving of the moth towards its flame. This, okay, so that's a quote. I think it's Lawrence quote. This soul searing confession of his mechanism was detailed from the sublicious edition where he Miro spoke of loving last of my integrity and something. All right, I'll take a picture and Gina, you can help me figure this out. And then the reference page 244. So this is a mystery for us. We're like Indiana Jones right now. We're gonna figure this out. All right, Gina, we can do this. The practitioners, let me know if you guys want to help me figure out these words.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
All right, and then once we get to page 244, someday we'll figure out what this letter means. Okay.
Love it. Historical mystery solvers.
Yep. Okay. Apparently right from Oxford. Okay. Oxford, not fart. I think I sounded like fart. Okay. So, questions, comments. We've been here 2 hours. And Gina, make a note. We're on page. Where are we?
You're on page 34, I believe. 33, 34, something like that.
Oh, back to page 30. Oh, page 30. There's another little note. Between page 30 and 31. Oh, where the aliens. Where we talked about the aliens. Possession. Oh my God. I missed it because I was reading it there and I didn't see it here. Okay, so it's worn out again. It's like yellow and worn out. Can't quite see that, but here it's worn out. On cover, the sword also means cleanness and death. On the alien page, where he said the man who gives himself to the possession of alien leads a Yahoo life, having bartered his soul to brute master. Sword, cut off, death. Cool. I'll have to make sure I pay attention to the pages as I'm reading them there. That there's no more notes. Yeah. Okay, we're good there. Yes, and we are on page are we on? Page 34.
Yeah, 34.
Yeah, we'll finish it there where we finished up 34. We talk about the desert. And then, Gina, you can make a note. The next one we will be going into will be 36. I mean, there's so much interesting things, but amazing. Questions, comments? What do you guys think? Do you like the series? Talk to me. Hit subscribe and like before we finish up.
So that's all the questions and comments right now. Somebody did add some more information about the essay, what it could represent. And there's a whole list of ones when you look it up, like talking about his companion that he had with him, or there's a lady, or some of the people, the lands. So yeah, I think people were interested in trying to find out some more information. They're getting really excited about digging into the history and information in the book.
Yeah. You guys like it? Let me know. Type it in chat. But let's dance it off for a second and come sign up, guys. Sign up to all my courses or some courses or one course. Come sign up, guys. 20% off. Coupon is Phoenix. All capitals. Phoenix. Let's go. And have a beautiful weekend, you all. Let me find the music. Such an incredible time. Tell me what you guys think. I'm having an amazing time. So beautiful to know that these beautiful men existed then. That's so beautiful. I think it picks up so we could dance a little. And hit like, subscribe. What's up? so much, there's so much incredibleness to what's left in the books, and I'm excited to be going over that with that in the future with you guys. All right, have a beautiful weekend. It's more of a slow dance. Come on. Have you ever been to Egypt, Middle East, Arabia before it became what it became? Were you? I think that's beautiful. I hope you maybe were before what happened. You're gonna hear the stories of what happened and what it's like now as I'm sharing this, because I am delivering an Egyptian course and we're up to part 17, and it is deep, you all. So I'll share what I can of that, glimpses as we unravel and break the spells of the dark curses of Egypt. Thank you. I love you, honor you, respect you. Let's go. Woo! See you guys next time. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.